Hello, it's Sherry again, and I don't have anything to do right now. Well, I guess I'm doing stuff, but um, I'm defragmenting my fragmented hard drive, and it's taking an incredibly long time. So, I'm also installing some software and going through some various different uh, devices in my device manager on my computer that were basically I'm just going to put this in an honest, straightforward manner. I live with two people who have a continual need to be in my shit. And I think also from that going out into everyone else's shit that they encounter. So I'm not going to say where I live or who I am. Well, I just did. Anyway, what I'm going to do here is I was looking at something called the Trusted Platform Installer. And I looked it up on Wikipedia. I've seen it a million times, so none of this stuff is new. So before anybody has an internet class phase 3 cluster crap out, just give it a rest. This stuff's been around forever. This is just the first time I've had any time or patience to deal with it. So you can deal with it right now. I don't want any whiplash. And you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, like I said, this is old news. Yesterday's news. It's just yesterday's news. I mean, way yesterday. It's been around a long time. But what I had noticed, though, that is new to me, it's not new because it came out in 2014, is that apparently this trusted platform, hold on, let me get it right, trusted platform installer, trusted platform module. I apologize. It is it's not hardware. Well, it is hardware. It is hardware. It's hardware. But we ask ourselves, what really is hardware? And I know that there are people who work for the government, probably not getting paid right now. Who know about this crap. But with the current situation, nothing's getting done. And I'm going to say something right now. There are people who created the internet who don't give a goddamn crap if you have digital. And neither do I. So shape up or ship out. I don't care if you have digital. I don't care if you have fancy pictures on the internet. I do enjoy the photographs and images myself. But if we have to go back to Telnet and old-fashioned modems and telephone wires, I do not care. Save a lot of problems. Only problem is I hate to give up what the advances in healthcare, but maybe it'll be reserved just for that, since people can't control themselves. But before I get too technical, I'm going to tell a story about leaky roofs and what I know about leaky roofs. And I'm going to bypass the Department of Defense PDF that I just found about trusted platform modules, because you can basically throw that one in the circular file, because I'll tell you what, they're not the ones in control of it. The people who wrote the book called Living with Families Under Leaky Roofs are the ones in control of it. How do I know? Because I've seen the book. There's a sequel, too. There's a prequel, too. The first book is a book that was put out by the Fort Smith, Arkansas Baptist Convention. And it says, Everyone Matters. And it's got a picture of people, illustrations. And if you think I'm scared of you, you're wrong. Most of them have bailed out and stopped this nonsense. I don't think they meant to take it to this level. But there are some, maybe just a few, who are still playing. Okay? I know about your goddamn Iranian cell phones. The Van Buren family reunion. It's become a joke. A total fucking joke. And I'm sick of it. What I've gone through with this. It's not Christian. So anyway, what happened is, about 2014, a book was put out that said Everyone Matters by the Fort Smith Baptist, I think it was the Fort Smith Baptist Convention. It could have been higher up than that. Baptist Association, sorry, not Convention, Association. And it said Everyone Matters, and it had illustrations of all kinds of people you'd find in the community, diverse and all that. But the only images that were in color were the police department, the EMT paramedic department, the fire department, and what's the other one? I almost forgot. Another emergency service. And everyone else was just pale, black and white, gray scale. And I thought, well, it doesn't look like Everyone Matters, because the only friggin' illustrated pictures that you have on there of Everyone Matters are the people who are in law enforcement, the paramedics, and it looks like the people who you want to, get the hospitals, and who you want to get to matter. And everyone else is just a little gray picture. I thought, well, for a bunch of preachers, that doesn't seem very nice. So anyway, I was highly disturbed by that, but what are you going to do? Call the police? Anyway, actually, we have a really good police department here. I'm not gonna put that down. And I'm so mad at that dumb association. And this isn't new. So, like I said, no fits are to be pitched. No tantrums are to be thrown. So then I'm going to fast forward a few years to now, where, up into 2015, where I make my mysterious trip to Little Rock and phone numbers are changed, and I come back, and I'm going to tell you something. Isn't this ironic? I had a very eventful trip in Little Rock, and phone numbers were changed. When I came back, about 15 miles outside of Greenwood, my car ran out of gas. Right in front of some type of an auto body shop. And so I pulled in, and I mean, it had been a trip from hell. I pulled in, and it's there was this guy, mechanic, and then this assistant working on a car, had it up on the, whatever that thing is. They put the car up on a hydraulic giant thing. And I asked, dude, the assistant, can you give me a ride to get some gas? And he was a total fucking dick. This is the South. I mean, if you ask a guy, if you run out of gas, and I'm not trying to ask for any kind of special rights or anything, but I'm just saying, this is how it is. If you get a flat tire, or used to be anyway, used to be this way, even in Kansas or not New Jersey, you're lucky that, you'd get run over if you get a flat tire in New Jersey, but anyway, if you get a flat tire or run out of gas and you ask a guy, you usually don't even have to ask. They just stop and help. Well, this guy was a total fucking prick, and he's like, I'm working! So, damn! And to make matters worse, my phone, which had been operating on no battery power for about 1 day, actually crapped out. I was able to make one telephone call to my sister in Wisconsin, Racine, Wisconsin. And she was very unusual. Like, I had been gone from Greenwood for a week. And she said, I said, do you have Mom and Dad's phone numbers? And she said, don't they still have a landline? And I'm like, no. And she said, oh. And then she said something really unusual, but I'm not going to repeat it. And then she said, hold on. And she put me on hold for a really long time. She didn't sound like herself. It was very odd. Because I know my sister really, really well, my younger sister, my baby sister. And she didn't sound like herself, but it was her. I mean, it was her voice anyway. So she gets back on the phone, and I said, well, can you call them or something? And then she said something like, I had just been out of town, okay, in my own car for a week. It was a bad trip. Parents had changed their phone numbers. I didn't tell them I was leaving. And she said, Dad has agreed to drop the charges. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What charge? What charges? And anyway, I don't think people drop charges. I think the police dropped. I had just gone out of town. You know? It was so weird. So anyway, that was so weird. It's a whole other topic. So anyway, about an hour later, after I wait for some kind of ride back into Greenwood, 15 miles out, because in Little Rock, someone had said something so bizarre, and they must have been on some kind of hallucinogenic trip. They said, don't even bother going back to Greenwood, because Greenwood's not even there anymore. And I thought, well, you know, I'm going to take my chances, because I'm having a pretty bad time here in Little Rock on my vacation, and I'm going to go see if Greenwood's still there. You know, I figured it was just some kind of freakish thing. So, about an hour later, after I'd been at that garage with that dumb prick assistant mechanic, who never did stop, and he said he'd stop and finish some of his work and give me a ride to get some gas. Well, that never happened. So anyway, okay. This lady drives by in this beat-up old green Chevy Blazer. I think that's what it was. You know, like a real cool older model, like little Blazer thing. And I get in, and I'm like, can you give me a ride to Greenwood? I'm like, where are you headed? And she's like, she was headed to their town. She's like, yeah, sure. And she starts telling me a story about how she has survived cancer. I'm like, okay. And she was within my age range. So we chatted for a while, and the only thing I noticed that was different is that her car was a little bit more beat up than what you typically see in this area, anywhere. It wasn't a total pile or anything. It just wasn't, you know, it was just different. It was like, I think it had a different post-production stereo in it, and she was playing the stereo. So we get back to my house, and it's empty. So after the 2.5 hour trip back from Little Rock, and the 1 hour at least that I spent at the garage, I got back to the residence. I mean empty. And it felt empty. It just felt empty. It was weird. So I come in, I was super relieved because I'd had these tingly feet. Man, I was feeling like dung. And I was in pain. Woo! So, so that would have been about another hour probably lapsed. This is the emptiest feeling in the house and all around. There wasn't one car. There wasn't any car there. So then people start getting home. And I'm going to stop that part right there. I end up having to go to the hospital for surgery. I'm going to stop that part right there. And then later on, another book came to the house that I saw. It was called Living Under Leaky Roof, Families Living Under Leaky Roofs. And it was the 3 motherfucking bears with no Goldilocks. So I thought I'd tell a little story about the 3 bears. You got your Papa Bear right here. But this isn't the bear that was in the book. Take a drink of that coffee. That book just had 3 bears. Didn't have any, it was also from the Fort Smith Baptist Convention. It didn't have any, Goldilocks. And then there was Mama Bear. It's not this Mama Bear. Take a drink of that coffee there. These are from Fish's-Eddie. It's a store in Soho. I think it's in Soho. And they sell like Buffalo China and Overstock, like Harvard Club stuff and dinerware. It's pretty cool. My ex-husband and I used to go there a lot. And they had Baby Bear. Little teeny tiny. But there was no Goldilocks in the story, which I found disconcerting. Well, first of all, what the hell? Why not just plug the leaks? Why live with the leaks and get rid of Goldilocks? I thought Goldilocks was very important to the story. Who wants a story without Goldilocks? Not me. And that is the story of the 3 bears with Goldilocks back in it. Thank you.